Hey, this is Toe2 Bravo, and we're going to talk about our Galil Ace rifle, chambered in 7.62 NATO or 7.62 by 51 millimeter. We've done a couple videos on this already, but I don't think we've done a proper introduction and breakdown of this particular rifle and the quality and the feel, and I don't think we haven't done it justice. So we're going to go straight from the web page for IWI, Israeli Weapons Industries, and talk about this beast that sits upon the table here. By far one of my favorite firearms currently in my inventory. So we're going to go straight from the web page because I think it's interesting enough to share. So we've got the modernized Galil Ace here, and it's based upon a reliable mechanism of the original Galil rifle, first developed by IWI in the late 1960s, drawing inspiration from the legendary Russian AK-47 and Finnish Valmet RK-62. And you can definitely see here the AK influence. I mean, it's undeniable. But it is such a fantastic platform, what they've done here. But you can definitely see the influence of the AK. The IWI Galil Ace has been continuously improved on over the last 40 years, resulting in today's extremely reliable and highly accurate Galil Ace. This thing is fantastic. Just the appearance and the feel of the rifle alone, it's just quality, and it's hard to convey that through video, but it is. You have to take my word for it. It is fantastic. Now, some of the improvements made since the original Galil was first developed include the charging handle reciprocating move to the left side of the milled steel receiver, allowing for weak hand operation. The fact that it takes the LR-SR25 magazine compatibility. This is Magpul. There's a little note here about 922R compliance. They want you to use American-made or U.S.-made magazines, opposed to anything imported because it might violate your 922R, etc., etc. Weight reduction with the use of polymers. You have your polymer right here towards the front of the receiver. Of course, the pistol grip, the whole back end here, and some pieces here at the very bottom. Now, this is steel underneath, but you've got some polymer pieces right here that you can hear. Modern polymers, by the way. Full-length, two-piece Picatinny style top rail. And you can see here we have a break, and we'll go into another video where I break the weapon down and show you the interior of the weapon. But the way that the top rails interlock here is incredible. I know one of the first things that I thought of, and things that you hear about or read about concerning these weapons and mounting an optic up top here, is the fact that folks are worried about this rail mounted on top of the cover here, and they're thinking it may be flimsy, but that is certainly not the case. You also have Picatinny style tri-rail forearm with built-in slide-on off rail covers with pressure switch access. So the pressure switch access right here, and these are, I'm sorry, that's not the pressure, there's pressure switch access built in. This is the release, and it's very easy, very simple, slides, hooks up very, very solid, no slop there. A side-folding, adjustable, telescoping buttstock with two-position removable comb on all rifle models. So you have the two-position comb, you have a forward position here, and then you have these positions here. Two-position, multi-positionable, collapsible stock, and it folds. Very comfortable setup. If you're going to run an optic, you're going to want to use the comb. Like I said, extremely comfortable to shoot. The recoil on this rifle is amazing. What little recoil there is. You can definitely take the comb off and just shoot it with the telescoping buttstock if you just shoot the iron sights. But if you're going to do an optic, you definitely want that comb there. Fully adjustable iron sights with tritium front post. The front sight post you've probably heard maybe on some other videos. It's kind of thick, but for what it is and what I'm going to utilize it for, it's just fine. Some more things that, some more statistics for the rifle here. The model number for this rifle is actually a GAR 1651 if you go off of the website there. chambered in 7.62 NATO, 7.62 by 5.1 millimeter, semi-auto, closed rotating bolt long stroke gas piston. The mag types we talked about, Magpul LR-SR25. Capacities 20, 25, and 10, I believe. The barreled material is chrome lined, cold hammer forged. So definitely a top of the line, very well made barrel. The barrel length is 16.5 inches. Overall length of the entire weapon with the buttstock unfolded and collapsed is 36 inches. Weight of the weapon minus magazine is 8.7 pounds. The rifling in the barrel is 1 12-inch twist, right hand. And of course I mentioned the sights earlier, but it's adjustable with tritium front post and 2-dot tritium rear aperture. It's the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to drop our magazine. And then the next thing is, as you would do in an AK, you have your detent here. We're going to go ahead and press the detent. We should be able to remove this top cover right here that kind of butts in here with the male end into this female recess here, which locks in extremely tight. So we're going to give that a shot and see if we can do that on camera without screwing anything up. Let's go ahead and do this. There we go. So the front cover, we'll lay that down. And as you see there, it looks like a traditional AK, doesn't it? Very similar. You have your top cover here. We have our EOTech mounted there. You can see this front piece here, which locks in, like I said, into this recess right here on the front end. So it's very solid. In a previous video I shook it. You can see on the inside here there was no flex or play at all. There's the rear sight. Of course you can remove that rear sight if you so desire, but with running an EOTech there's really no need to do that. This is a very solid build. It's hard to convey that, but it's very thick. So we'll set that right there. Alright, the next thing we'll do is remove the recoil spring here, and like I said earlier, it's the same type of setup and that an AK has. We're going to remove that from the bolt, and this looks very similar to that what you would find in an AK platformed rifle. Alright, we're back, and we noticed that the comb was in our way for the bolt removal. So we will go ahead and remove the comb. So there's that. We'll rotate this back up top. Now you'll see that as I remove the bolt assembly here, that you'll see we'll get some resistance from the dust cover. And as a matter of fact, let's show you. Let's see if we can get in there and you can actually see, zoom in, how that dust cover assembly works there. If you look right here, you have a spring mechanism that's looped in and goes against the tension point there, and you can see it right there. Pretty cool design. I like that. That is really neat. Anyways, so let's go ahead and zoom back out, and let's go ahead and remove the bolt. So that should look very similar to the functioning of an AK. So let's remove the bolt and piston. Now you can see there is something very original there on the front end. On the piston you have what looks like a normal AK piston type head, but there is an additional triangular piece there we can see. And then there is a little flex and play, and we have the rear portion with the bolt face. It all looks very AK-ish, solidly built. So we'll come up there, look at that, give you guys a good look at the rear. There's no mushrooming, that's good. You always worry about mushrooming. There's no mushrooming there, huh? So everything looks good. Nothing's jumping out as something that should not be there. So there's that. Let's pan out just a little more. And let's rotate into the weapon itself. And you can see that, again, everything looks very AK-ish. So we'll come up and do a close look there. Definitely see the chrome lined barrel. It's hard to tell on camera, but it is in fact chrome lined. But there's a large portion of your disassembly. We're not going to take this front tube off. That's not necessary. I just wanted to do a decent disassembly here, pretty much like you would with an AK, so you guys can check it out, and I can check it out for myself too. Very nice heavy duty spring in there. Solid built weapon. This thing is a tank. So there you have it. So we will go ahead and put it back together. So we'll take our bolt and piston assembly and seat that in there, followed by our spring, and put our spring in the area here. Up. And then we take our dust cover. Now on our dust cover, keep in mind we have that little point here that you have to get up underneath, and I understand that this is fairly tricky. Alright, so what I needed to do for this cover back here is, first you're putting the front portion in underneath the lip. Now back here at the rear portion, you'll see that there's a lip here. There's a lip right here, so we get in the front portion is going into here, up underneath that recess. The back portion, you can see that this comes up and forms a little recess and a lip. So you need to take this, line it up, and then kind of give it a good whack, seat it in, and then now you have support to the rear of the cover, and you should be able to take the charging handle, and when I do that, you should see the detent in the back locks home, securing the top of the cover. Now you can see that even though we disassembled that, there is very little movement to that firearm. So that's pretty much wraps up the disassembly assembly. Next time I see you, I'll be out at the range. Thanks for watching.